Hi, from fun, I'm hyped, and welcome to FUNalysis. In this episode, we're going to be looking at one of the most competitive signature events of the year, NorCal. Specifically, we're going to be looking at semifinals 2-1 between 11101B, BarkBots, and 2054B, Pika Pika, the Red Alliance, and the Blue Alliance of 10B and 9123C. This match has 4 signature event winners from this year and 2 former world champions, so you know it's going to be a good one. Specifically in this match, we're going to be looking at the hoarding strategy that's become very popular, but also how compatible robots allows you to play this strategy and then ultimately beat it. See if you can spot how this happens, and let us know your thoughts on FUNalysis in the comments.
This video on fun is brought to you by our viewers, supporters, members, and also in partnership with the following. Build your alliance and discover why so many VEX alumni choose Kettering University. Every student at Kettering experiences their cutting-edge co-op programs that seamlessly blend the professional and academic worlds. Kettering co-ops are a fully immersive working experience at the leading edge of industry. Head on over to kettering.edu/VEX to learn more about their incredible programs and get more information. Did you know that Fun has awesome merch options, including game-themed merch available at funroboticsnetwork.com/merch? From cute thematic options to robots and fun-themed apparel, you can directly support Fun and look good at the same time. You can also become a Fun member or supporter through YouTube Join to get early access to most of our content. Thank you for your continued support.
Let's start out by introducing the teams. On the Blue Alliance here, we have 10B and 9123C as mentioned, 10B in the bottom right over here, and then 9123C in the top right over here. And then on the Red Alliance, we have 11101B, BarkBots, and 2054V, Pika Pika on the top left. So one of the interesting things that we're going to see here, which was mentioned in the intro, is that there's a very different strategy between Pika Pika and BarkBots in terms of their robot design. Right, so BarkBots, while they have this kind of lever design, which allows them to hold, I think it's around 7 balls, is what most levers can hold, and instantly, discreetly score all these at once, and kind of take back this middle control bonus really quickly without as much of need for wing play. But a Pika Pika, on the other hand, has this hopper robot, which allows them to hold 15 or 20 balls and then dump them all at the end, right? So what's interesting about this strategy is that it means that BarkBots can play very fast and loose, right? They can kind of play ping pong, as some people call it, with this long goal very easily because they can just instantly descore all the opponent's balls and score theirs without the need for a wing without the need for that wing because of their lever design. Whereas on the other hand, Pika Pika is just going to collect. They might play a little bit of wing play as they've added this wing recently, but they are just going to collect and then wait for the last few seconds before they dump as many balls as they possibly can into this long goal. What makes this really interesting is that in the last 15 seconds, because BarkBots is less focused on getting their goal back because they know they can do that really quickly with this lever design, they're just going to kind of play defense, allow Pika Pika to get situated, allow them to get into position to dump balls, let them dump balls, and then BarkBots can easily take back a middle control bonus, high middle control bonus, a low middle control bonus, or even this long goal if they need to, because obviously both these robots can't be at the same place at the same time, so they're either trying to somewhat do something to defend Pika Pika, which is really difficult as we might see, or one of them will be at one middle, the other one will be at the other middle, and this long goal's open. So obviously like one goal will end up being open because there's 4 goals and 3 robots left, right? On the other hand, what this Blue Alliance does is they have 2 S robots, right? So this S robot is what some would call kind of the best between both worlds. It's not big and bulky like this hopper robot, but it's also not as discrete scoring as this lever robot. So it allows them to have 9 or 10 balls of their own color, which is 2/3 of a long goal, and then also be quick and fast and be able to like maneuver with a wing. So as we watch Auton here, as this starts out, and this stream is a little glitchy, so that's my apologies. We're going to see both these teams rush for this kind of middle bonus, and they both run a little, I like to call it the juke out Auton, where they pretend like they're going to go back to this match loader, but they don't immediately. Then they go back to the match loader and go for the middle, right? And I guess all 4 robots end up at the middle, which is kind of an interesting scenario. It doesn't normally happen here. But eventually they come back, they wing, and we see that this is a very close Auton. They end up debating this for a while. And if I remember correctly, Blue takes it by 4 points, right, as we're about to start into driver control. So as we're starting to driver control, Blue has an immediate advantage because they're up this bottom middle goal, and they're up 1 long goal. But obviously this is going to change really quickly with how we know this game is played. There's going to be some wing play. We're going to see all that. Or, well, is there going to be some wing play? Because one of the interesting things, as we wait for them to finish counting up odds on here, one of the interesting things about Blue's strategy in this match is the fact that immediately the Blue Alliance of 9123C is going to go and take all of Red's match loads, right? Which is something we haven't really seen yet, right? We know that some teams have considered just grabbing the other team's match loads and dumping them somewhere else, but that's exactly what we see 9123C do, and do at a really high level here, right? So they're taking all these balls, they dump it in this bottom corner over here, so that immediately Pika Pika, while they're going to get these, doesn't have the immediate ability to get as many as they need, right? On the other hand, on this bottom part of the field, we see BarkBots with their lever is immediately dominating this long goal, and is kind of dominating this middle goal, but it's a little bit iffy, right? Because that's just how this game's played, right? So as we start to jump forward in this match, Pika Pika realizes, oh shoot, we don't have the balls we need to play the normal strategy that we need to do. So they're going to go back to this this park zone here, which 9123C plays excellent defense. Jason, their driver's doing a great job. And Pika Pika has to spend this time grabbing these balls, right? Now, while they're up in this scenario, just a few seconds later, as we skip forward, we see that they're actually back to being down, right? They have lost their long goal here, they have lost their long goal here, and they're about to lose this bottom control, right? So Pika Pika, instead of being able to just play a defensive strategy where they just collect balls and play defense the whole match and just wait for a bottom, they immediately need to be like, okay, we're going to start scoring, we have to start scoring, we have to start trying to take goals back, right? Because of that, we see that they don't have as many balls as they normally would, and again, they're down this middle, they're down that long control bonus, and they're down Auton, so they're in a pretty bad scenario. As we continue to skip forward, we see around this 25-second mark, where they would usually be lining up for this long D-score, they're having to kind of wing their goal back, at which point 9123C and 10B are like, hey, let's match load. We're going to wait until the very end. We're going to match load all our balls so that they can't take our balls and disperse them, right? So both of these alliances now have a bunch of balls. Pika Pika is lining up for what they would usually do their bottom, but they can't really do that. So 9123C and 10B, they wing backwards up top here, which is a great play by them. They de-score. They notice that Pika Pika is trying to do their long score, and they immediately do that long wing backwards, right? And they also have the ability to dump all the balls that they have, right? Because now they have the advantage of having a bunch of balls, and the other alliance doesn't, right? So as we skip forward to this kind of like last second play here, we see that Blue was able to and we'll just rewind a little bit further because I went a little bit too far, but Blue was actually the one that was able to dump all their balls here. They were able to get that control bonus, while Pika Pika is having to play from behind, right? So what we've seen really with this match is that this dump strategy, as 10B tries to kind of do it in the bottom here, but doesn't do it as great as they maybe intended to. This dump strategy that Pika Pika likes to play, where they collect balls the entire match and then end up scoring them all at the end, only works if A, they have Auton, right? So they have the ability to not have to play from behind as much, but also if they're able to get their balls at the start and then have that one lineup to score, right? So all they have to do is play a little bit of defense, de-score, and they're not behind, right? But because they got behind, because of the way that 9123C grabbed their match loads, and Pika Pika had to spend that time, going all the way around here, grabbing their match loads from the park zone, and then coming back here, and maybe scoring in the middle. They did a kind of figure eight circle routine. They had to spend that time doing that. 9123C and 10B were able to grab all their match loads. They were able to score a bunch, get up, and then ultimately get all their match loads at the very end. So kind of play a reverse Pika Pika strategy, and then just dump them at the end when Pika Pika was struggling to grab goals back. So we see that this horde strategy, while it is really great, it's starting to be able to be countered, and it's definitely not an end all be all, right? It is great, but you have to be smart about when you grab your match loads, when you have your balls, and then also you have to be smart about not letting the other team, grab your balls and then starve you. That match was truly awesome. I've loved seeing the strategy progression of pushback over the last few weeks, and also how teams have seen Pika Pika's strategy and won up to them specifically in this match. What do you think the future of pushback strategy is going to be? Do you think it's going to be these hover robots and this dump strategy? Or do you think it's going to go back to lever bots and discrete scoring? I don't know. Let us know in the comments, and please let us know your thoughts on FUNalysis. This was Heitner, and thank you for watching FUNalysis.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell to stay up to date on future fun videos. True competitors know that every second counts. That's why Kettering University challenges you to dive in right away as a first-year student. Participating in robotics programs helps Kettering students secure a valuable co-op. Whatever your interests, Kettering gives you more space to work faster and win faster. Learn more at kettering.edu/vex.